Welcome to My Village podcast, where we dive deep into the trends and innovations shaping our startup ecosystem. I am your host, Sharon Kakai, and I'm thrilled to bring you today's episode as part of our Future of Work series under the theme, Adapt and Navigate the Future. Jordan, welcome to the My Village podcast. How are you today?
Oh, I'm feeling great. Very excited to be on this podcast with you.
How is Remote Squad?
Oh, Remote Squad is doing actually perfect. Yeah.
Okay, tell me what your journey has been like. Who is Jordan? How are you? How did you get to this place?
All right. The perfect way I would describe myself is I like to think of myself as a tinkerer. I like building things and breaking things along the way as well. Yeah, I like researching. I like experimenting with different frameworks and different programming languages, different technologies. Yeah, so at the moment, I'm actually doing a lot of AI research. I've been building a number of AI agents that perform various things. I think recently I just built an SEO charge, a blog post writer. Yeah, which is an AI agent that bloggers can actually use to write blog posts, which are powered by internet search results.
Tell me about your journey so far. When you joined school, did you ever know that you wanted to become a technologist, as some of you call it? What was that journey like from secondary school to university? Tell me that story.
So my interest in tech has always been, growing up as a child, I liked reading. And I was very fascinated about how phones work, how are the software built, how do you get something, to actually work. And from earlier on, I learned that all this was powered by code. To actually build this stuff, it was code. So it was during my first year, that's when I got a laptop actually. So the very first time I was actually playing a lot of games with my laptop. Then until late, I think the games got boring a bit. Then I was like, what else could I do? I can code on this machine as well. Yeah, so at that point.
So you taught yourself how to code?
Yeah, I did. Okay. I shouldn't save myself.
Did you have any help or?
YouTube.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, so the journey was mostly, initially I was coding by myself, building websites, because that was it's usually the easiest thing you can build if you have a low-end device. Yeah, so I built websites for a bit until there was this competition at Chambogo University at my faculty, where it was, the mission of the competition was engineers to build solutions for challenges that they face in their communities. Yeah. So I had a friend who approached me with this idea about building a mental health app that will be able to help people to access mental health services much more easily. Yeah, and at that time, I think we had lost a classmate to suicide. Yeah, and yeah, it was really a personal thing. So I was like, what are we going to do here? Then it was like, so why don't we build the app? Why don't we build an app that will be able to help the guidance and counseling unit of Chambogo University reach out to the students? So that's when we built an app called Joseph. And while we're actually building Joseph is when I met a colleague that has been very instrumental in my journey. He's called Sharif. So when this colleague joined us in the project, he was actually a certified Google Android developer. Right. So when he came in and we were working together, I learned so much from him. Yeah, and that's why I think I greatly advocate for collaboration and mentorship.
Well, a shout out to Sharif over there. Thank you for bringing Jordan through this journey. Yeah. Tell me something. What does Remote Squad do? All
right, so Remote Squad is a tech outsourcing company. We do outsource software development services. We outsource app development services. And recently, we are diving a lot more into outsourcing AI automations. Because at the moment, our focus is mostly shifting to, with the advent of AI, it's like almost everyone can build apps, right? We have apps that are being built.
You speak about AI. Yeah. Why you with enthusiasm? Why are you interested in AI? Why AI?
I think AI is a very big enabler. I think it's as big an enabler as we had, pen and paper. As pen and paper was an enabler, a bigger enabler than, stone tablets. Because with pen and paper, we're able to transmit information, store information and knowledge,
Right.
and it's basically the foundation upon which the modern world has been built on. And I think AI is going to be the major building block for the future.
Tell me about the programming language. I've heard things like Rust. What other programming languages are there?
Oh, there are actually hundreds and hundreds of programming languages. Actually, for most beginners, it's usually difficult to pick a language, I should say. But there are hundreds of programming languages.
What are the easiest languages one can interact with when they're starting that journey?
When they're starting the journey, I would recommend to go for Python. Python or JavaScript, right? So why I recommend Python is that Python can do almost anything you want it to do. And also, it's a major programming language that is being used in AI at the moment. So if you're definitely want to do something to do with AI, I recommend Python very much.
That's good.
Yeah.
Tell me something, Jordan. Before we get into the details of AI, what is AI and automation in the simplest language? Remember, our audience is not familiar. Is not necessarily familiar with technology language.
Yeah, so how I define artificial intelligence is, we humans, we have intelligence, right? In fact, I think living things have intelligence because even the apes have intelligence to some sense, right? That is intelligence to make sense of the information, right?
Right.
So when you're talking about artificial intelligence, as you can see the word artificial, it means we are making that intelligence. It's not actually based on biology, but we are making this intelligence. And what enables us to make that intelligence is computing. So basically, we are trying to make sense of information using computing.
I love that. And that's very, very interesting. Yeah. So one of the major topics today is the future of work and how AI and automation can bring us to that. Where do you see the importance of artificial intelligence in the future of work today?
In the future of work, but I like to think of jobs as a bunch of tasks, right? That you show up every day at your job, to do a specific set of tasks. If you're a salesperson, you're coming to write emails, engage clients, engage potential leads,
right, and
all that. Yeah. So how I think AI is going to be able to affect the future of work is mostly you can look in your workflow, the day-to-day tasks that you carry out. Yeah, if you look in that workflow, you're going to see that there are some tasks that can definitely be automated. Like crafting emails, right? Yeah, I think it's safe. Maybe 30% of your tasks can be automated, but I think there is reason to be worried if you have more than 30% of your tasks getting automated.
Why so?
Yeah, not really be worried, but I think you should, start trying to actually automate, because I think in the future, what's going to happen is we're going to have people who use AI replacing people who are actually not willing to use AI, because a salesperson who is automating their workflow, things like sending cold emails, because you can do that, right? He's going to reach out to more people than someone who is not using AI, right? Who are not automated parts of their workflow. And that means that that person is going to become more desirable in the employment market and is going to be able to achieve, larger things and hit higher goals, right? In terms of sales.
What else? I hear the aspect of convenience. I hear the aspect of fast-paced way of working. Yeah. What other significant ways can AI contribute to the future of work?
All right, so efficiency is literally, so currently there is a tool called GitHub Copilot which developers use, and I use it on a daily. Yeah, so what GitHub Copilot basically does is it helps you write code, right? Much of the boilerplate codes that you're able to write, yeah, it helps you do that. So I believe I'm now with the next developer, because I don't really remember where I got this from, but there is a gentleman who said having AI in your work processes is like having 1,000 interns, because it's not, at the moment, it's not really very, very excellent.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
AI is your next thing in integrating in your work. How are these technologies transforming industries?
I think in Uganda, we are seeing the adoption of AI is a bit slow, but yeah, at least I've now come across some individuals who are already adopting it, especially in the areas of content creation, right, where they're using tools like Canva AI to come up with elegant-looking presentation that initially used to take hours,
Right.
hours and hours of focused work to be able to achieve. Then we're also seeing production lines. I think it's Coca-Cola, which now has a semi-automated production line, which requires less human intervention. Yeah.
Speaking of which, you mentioned Coca-Cola, you mentioned content creation. Explain some of the examples of the tasks that AI can take over.
All right, so I think the influence of AI can be seen across different sectors, right? So let me say, for example, I can give the example of manufacturing industries, right? One of the critical factors that leads to the success of any production line is the ability to have a very high efficiency to produce as many units as possible in the shortest amount of time, right? Right. So where AI can come in is, in a production line, we have data. We're collecting data about the sizes, about things like the unit sizes. We are measuring things like weight, So when we integrate AI, on top of this data, we're able to, predict where the bottlenecks in our production processes are. And then we're able to solve that, which, increases efficiency. And also, I think what I've actually been thinking about, coming from a mechanical engineering background is the topic of, it's called predictive maintenance.
Okay.
Where you are carrying out maintenance activities to prevent the risk of a breakdown occurring in the future, right? Yeah, I feel like, I'm not really sure, I haven't delved into how people are already implementing it in Uganda, but I'm very sure outside there, the Mercedes-Benz, their production line already have that kind of thing, where they're almost reducing the chances of a breakdown in the production process to zero.
Right.
And I think it's actually very possible.
Okay. We wait to see your innovation around that. I'm assuming that's where you're headed. Share some examples of successful people or organizations or entities that are using AI and automation to get work done.
I think the biggest example for the success of AI would be Google itself. Because I think while you are watching YouTube, you're always seeing ads, right?
Right.
Yeah, so the ad recommendation algorithm is actually a type of AI that is specialized to show relevant ads to specific people based on their
so
demographics.
It's AI that does that in the back end.
Yes, it is
Right.
AI. Yeah.
Apart from Google, who else?
All right, so in the financial sector, AI can already be used in fraud detection to help banks to detect fraudulent transactions that are being triggered on their systems. Because all these there are characteristics of fraudulent transactions that are, and AI is very good at predicting, classifying information.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I've seen things like sentiment analysis.
Yes.
Yeah, where AI is used to to go through reviews to make sure how are people feeling about a particular product. That's also being used, and I think it's very useful for people who are the service industry especially.
Okay.
Yeah, in education, we're already seeing people increasingly using AI to provide personalized learning experiences to learners, to craft learning experiences to learners based on their favored learning style, to increase the efficiency on how they take up this content. I'm actually working on a project right now. It's called Semester AI. Yeah, so I think to talk a bit about Semester AI, we are providing tooling to help university students to digest and take in their content that they receive.
Well, suddenly the notes that you receive are too much, too bulky.
Too bulky, and sometimes.
And what's the connection between AI and actually absorbing this information? Because at the end of the day, you've got to absorb this information and actually sit for a test. So how do you imagine this is going to work?
So the personalization is actually where the AI comes in. You know, we have different learning styles. We take information better if it's presented to us in a specific way rather than in another way, you know. Some other people are visual learners, some other people are auditory learners, some other people want things to be explained to them, you know, with examples.
Yes.
Other people want things, for other people, you can explain to them things at a high level and, you know, they're able to grasp it, but other people want, you know, they want to see examples and they're able to learn it. So yeah, Semester AI, what it's trying to do is literally, we are trying to do that. We have a number of tutors already, which are actually bots for different topics, and you know, you can interact with these bots depending on your favorite style of learning. Yeah.
Now that you mention education, the aspect of skilling, could you identify some of the essential technical and soft skills needed in an AI-driven workplace?
Right. So in an AI-driven workplace, I think one of the major skills is adaptability, right? Because this technology, it's emerging, right? We're still in its early phases, but I think we can already see how much it has advanced in the past few years.
Yeah.
So adaptability is one of the number one skills that I believe every workspace should be able to adapt to these AI tools. Then they can, you know, adapt their processes in order to, you know, derive as much efficiency as possible.
Okay.
Yeah. Then I also think, you know, in a workplace, you know, that wants to, you know, thrive and really have an impact, I think data should be a big topic, because using our data represents processes, right? We can represent processes using data, and using this data, we can analyze this data and improve the processes as well. Okay.
How can we ensure AI systems are transparent, fair, and accountable? Because in the workplace right now, as it is, there's very many people who are using AI to do their work, right? But how can you make it transparent, fair, and accountable? What are some of the things that should be put in place, or the ways to ensure that it is that?
So one of the ways to ensure transparency while working with AI is to maintain clear communication with stakeholders.
Right.
You know, we have seen scenarios where people are generating images with AI and
let me guess. Business or the leadership is asking, where did you get this picture from?
Yeah.
And it doesn't exist, does it?
Yeah, it doesn't exist. Or you can't actually justify, and sometimes it doesn't. You know, people promise to deliver work for a particular client,
right?
And you know, they're delivering AI, and it's a bit substandard. You know, they didn't take in the time to really actually customize what are the needs of this particular client or person, and how do we? Because you can use AI, right? You can leverage AI to deliver work. Yeah, that's totally fine, but you know, you have to be able to make sure, first of all, you understand the needs of the client that you're serving, or the particular use case, and then you can then use AI to craft a solution to their challenges or their needs, and yeah, then you can offer that. But I think it's unethical to use AI blatantly, and you know, it's hit and miss on the client side.
Right.
Yeah.
You mentioned aspects of being unethical, and that brings us now to the ethical considerations around the utilization of artificial intelligence and automation. How would you address the ethical challenges around it? Because right now, as it is, we're seeing people do so much utilization of voices, etc. How can you address some of the ethical challenges around it?
Yeah, so I would really advocate for inclusion, first and foremost. You know, we want to make sure while we're designing products, AI-based products, we want to make sure, you know, people from different demographic groups, from different regions, people from different parts of the world, you know, can be able to use this AI in an accessible way, and yeah, in a way that it's not hallucinating to them or it's not lying to them, because that actually also
now
hampers
AI lies to
adoption.
them.
Yeah, hallucination is a huge problem in the AI space, by the way. Yeah, adequate efforts are being made already to solve that.
What kind of efforts?
Yeah, efforts. The efforts that are in that place to solve the hallucination problem. We have a concept in AI called retrieval augmented generation, right? Where however AI, they're intelligent, right? They can spit out information, right? And they have the ability to make sense of the information, right? So in retrieval augmented generation, what we are basically doing is we're giving it a piece of information. It can be a document, it can be a database, then we are actually explicitly telling this AI, please, when a user asks a question, which is a prompt, please look in this documents or database that I've given you and provide only an answer that comes from that database. And yeah, that greatly reduces the hallucination problem.
Wow. Hallucination, guys. Use more AI and you will start hallucinating. What other challenges?
Yeah, so some of the other challenges, ethical considerations, yes.
I mean, when we talk about ethical considerations, there is the aspect of plagiarism, right? And I mean, when you're going to use AI, especially when it comes to content curation, it gives you whatever you want, correct?
Yeah.
How can we tackle that issue when it comes to university students? Because I know it's happening a lot in schools. Someone has coursework and they just go to AI to make it easy. Would you say that is another ethical consideration to think about?
The point of education school is mostly to help us get as much knowledge as possible, right? And when they give us coursework or they give us project work, we are sent out there into the world to gather sources of information that you can, use to craft a concept paper, or a research report or something. Yeah. So the topic of plagiarism, especially in education, I think one of the baseline points to help solve that problem is at the stage of collecting training data. That is, I think the people who are training these models are supposed to, seek consent from the different people or different organizations before actually training on the data. They're supposed to seek consent to be able to use this data, such that, they use it with a consent.
So would you say that AI has possibly made people lazy right now? Because in a way, people are using it.
I think it has made people more efficient.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you can automate much of the boring tasks, it frees the time to do more fun stuff and explore more. And yeah, I feel like it's really accelerating innovation. It's accelerating workplaces and how soon people are achieving their goals. And yeah, I think in the long run, it's going to have a positive impact on the world economy. That's what I think.
Data privacy, one of the most critical elements, right?
Yeah.
What's the correlation between AI and data privacy? How do the two work hand in hand? And are there any instances you have encountered where data is affected because of AI?
Yeah, I think we have seen cases where, people's personal information, because some companies unethically are obtaining people's personal information and using it in the training data. Yeah, I think we have seen cases where people's personal information is popping up in results, AI results. When you start your plans, you're saying Joy Innovation Village,
right.
Yeah. But I think one thing, actually, we have actually implemented it before. There are some models, they're called name entity recognition models that are being used to remove personally identifying information from training data.
Right.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people could leverage some of those models in order to clean their data before they actually input them into the system that are accessed by the mainstream population.
Which then protects data.
Yeah.
So, as we conclude, future outlook, right? What does it look like for AI and automation in the workplace?
So I think AI became it was brought into the mainstream media, and a lot of people got access to it with ChatGPT. When the ChatGPT came out,
it imploded.
Yeah, it actually imploded, you know. And yeah, that was ChatGPT 3, right? And you know, fast forward, now we have GPT-4, which you know has faster inferential speed. You know, it has better comprehension. It can better make sense of information, and I think the growth is actually an exponential curve for AI. You know, from over the years it had plateaued, and it's now been exponential. And I think soon we're going to have something called AGI, which is AI literally being able to do what a human being can do.
And what does that look like?
That looks
when you
like,
say what a human being can do, is it going to, I don't know.
Yeah,
what does that look like?
That looks like an AI being able to, you know, when a client reaches out to the innovation village, you know, for partnership, an AI will be able to take the request, look into the services and openings that are available,
and determine if
we
if it's
actually
possible. Have room for that.
Yeah,
no.
And it will schedule meetings, prepare meeting notes for the
kidding.
meeting. I'm very serious.
Okay.
Yeah, we already have actually, there are already agentic AIs that are already being used for some of these processes. Right now, I think they're still in its infancy, but I think soon the technology is going to become more robust in order to be able to do much of the things.
That's scary, isn't it?
I don't think it's scary. I
can't imagine AI making decisions for me on what partnerships I should take on.
You know, if you collect the right data, I think it will be able to make for you decisions that,
and
you know, a human being would miss.
Yeah. What is its potential for innovation and productivity enhancement?
Yeah, so I think AI greatly accelerates, you know, just like I think earlier I mentioned that having AI automation on your team is like having interns. You know, you're able to, you know, develop products. you're able to.
So what's going to happen to our interns, guys?
I think interns are also going to have interns.
That's funny. Okay.
Yeah, I think interns are also going to have interns, and you know, they're going to be able to perform at a level that probably experienced people are, and it's also actually their performance is also going to rise to, you know, a whole different level. That's what I think.
Okay, clearly what you're simply telling me, and in this conversation that we have had, is AI is here to stay, and not just stay, advance faster, as we have seen, as we continue to experience it. So how can we embrace these technologies? I mean, how can we embrace them, and how can we, while embracing them, prioritize the ethical aspects of using AI? How can we embrace them?
Yes, I think one of the fundamental principles to, you know, to help the current workforce to better adapt to this technology is, you know, sensitization. We have to make sure people are aware of AI, you know, and what you can do, and to stop fearing it. It's not here to harm us, but it's here to, you know, enable us to start thinking about it in that light. Yeah, AI is here to help us become more efficient, help us learn faster.
So it's a mindset thing.
It's a mindset thing. Yeah.
What other aspects?
Yeah, then I also think, you know, an aspect that I feel like almost everyone should start getting familiar with is it's called prompt engineering. That is the art of asking questions to this AI such that, you know, they're able to give you the kind of output that you need for your particular use case. So I feel like that's...
To avoid ambiguity.
To avoid ambiguity, yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Jordan. This was a very insightful conversation on AI and automation. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us was Jordan from Remote Squad to discuss the use of AI and automation in our day-to-day work. As you have seen and listened, we have discussed the use of AI and automation in the future of work. The question still remains, how do we integrate this in our workplaces? Is our leadership, are our businesses willing to take on this journey, to embrace it, to utilize it for efficient workforce? All this in our Future of Work series as we seek to navigate and adapt the future of work. Your host, Sharon Kakai. Thank you. Until the next time, bye-bye.